Welcome everyone to the CCL Halftime Show. I am Kyle Fergusson. Today, I am joined by Wildheart Zergling, a flex player. Welcome back, Zergling.
Welcome. I'm glad to be back. Thanks, Kyle. Always glad to be here. This is the 4th season going on now.
Yeah, you've been in every single one so far and interviewed every season too, which is some sort of accolade. Congratulations.
Thanks. Goon likes to throw me in there.
Well, it's great to talk to you. You have such a great understanding of what's going on in the meta with your own team and early on the season. That's great to get from you. But before we go too far, we've introduced you a little bit, but is there anything you'd like the people to know about who you are, what you do for the team?
A small little thing about me is that I've been playing Heroes of the Storm back before HCC got canceled. I was in open division. I made my way through the Crucible. I won. Unfortunately, I did not get to play HCC because it got canceled the very season that I actually made it. Very unfortunate. Since then, I've been focusing on studies, got a job, and enjoying life, but there's still that competitive drive, and that's why I'm here in the CCL, and I've been enjoying it ever since. I played some flex, I played some offlane. I'm a primary shot caller / drafter for Wildheart, and I'm currently the offlaner for our team.
So we've talked about this a little bit in the past, but it's always a fascinating topic. How do you shot call from the off lane when you're doing a 1v1 duel on the other side of the world?
Most of the time, because it's an off lane, you can't really kill each other. You're kind of just clearing the wave and then leaving. So I don't really have to worry too much about trading in the off lane. Now, there's sometimes I do focus it because I do make an impact on using resources from the other offlaners so that we can potentially either out-rotate where he has to use tap or delays rotation. And some of those things are depending on the matchup that I have. But most of the time is my brain is not even in the offlane. I'm not even looking at my lane. I'm just pressing buttons and I'm just looking at the map. I'm seeing rotations. I'm seeing timers. I'm checking camps. Saying, hey, this needs to be caught. Hey, this wave's coming up. Hey, this person's rotating. Hey, this camp's coming up. Hey, can we invade? Stuff like that. So from my perspective, I'm kind of like the owl's nest, right? I'm up top. I'm looking around while they're fighting. They're watching rotations and they're worried about dying. I'm just, walking around, hitting the wave, walking another wave, hitting the wave. I'm like, hey guys, I kind of want to play the game too. Can we invade or something? This would be fun.
I'm pushed out. Can I join?
Yes.
Yeah, that's an interesting development this season overall. Kind of talking about the big meta picture. It seems like the extreme of the double soak meta has given way slightly. Do you feel that in your own games?
Well, I think teams are better this season, and just like in HCC, clearing mid on any map is the most important thing that you can do. And a lot of players don't talk about this or even think about it. But realistically, if you're going to clear mid, right, that means you have priority either to go top or bottom, depending if it's 3-lane map. If it's 2-lane map, then obviously you're going to be in one of the bottom or top lanes. But if you clear, let's say Dragonshire, for example, you clear mid and you leave vision, you don't know where they went. You don't know if they went top. You don't know if they went bottom. And that's very scary to be the person in that lane that could be rotated on. So you have to back up. So you create space. You get more priority on the bot lane. You go back, clear another mid wave. So you're ahead of rotation. So a lot of the times when you're clearing mid, you get more advantages on the map that allows me as an offlaner to do more things on the map. So I think teams that are better don't necessarily have to do the double soak. Now, sometimes it is better, like Sky Temple, for example, just for fighting over top temple, you want double soak as offlaner. That's great. But most of the time, if your team can clear mid and they have really good wave clear and they get ahead in rotation, someone on the other team has to catch that wave, then you have player advantage and you could do other things on the map. So I think a lot of the offlaners are so strong that they are no longer doing the double soaking. You have Hogger that can go do hards, you have Hogger that can go do siege, you have Blaze that can do hards, you got Dahaka that can send in a bush and freeze a wave, so there's a lot more options now.
You brought up Blaze. So far, you have played majority Blaze games. I guess, do you like playing Blaze, or is this a meta requirement for you?
I love Blaze. Blaze is fun. People don't like Blaze. I love just jet propulsion in there and just stunning people. I don't know. I love StarCraft, so that's where my name comes from, and I love StarCraft characters. So when Blaze came out, I was loving it. And the ability, I think my current Blaze build, which is a little different than some other people's Blaze builds, very slight differences than their build, is that I think the way my play style is more impactful for team fights, and you can see that where I'm casually, I think on like Cursed Hollow last weekend, I think I stunned Hogger like 4 or 5 times, and within like 12 seconds, I was just stunning him on cooldown. And that's something that I think offers a lot in team fights, is having these multiple stuns.
Oh, interesting. So you're more talking about that level 16 thermal protection?
Level 16 is if they don't have any mage spell damage, but also level 1. A lot of people go Adrenaline Stim Pack. I go Neural Stim Pack.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So I go to CDR.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So it's a cool thing when you're Blaze and you go sit in front of a wall, and I'm like, hey, I want to press Q on his wall because that's a cool mechanic. I can press my Neural and I can Q his wall twice as fast. So yeah.
Well, here on your Liquipedia page, it always shows some of your old favorite heroes. And one of these is Samuro, who I'd love to see again someday, but it sounds like it doesn't match in this current meta.
Yeah, he's just not that great. Maybe he'll come out one of the days that I'm like, hey, Samuro looks good here. But I think they buffed the meta offlaners too much. Now the meta offlaners are now too powerful from the standard old offlaners. That's why you see a lot less Diva, a lot less Leo, a lot less, even less Dahaka, who was a global, because Hogger and Blaze are just so powerful. And then also Yrel. Yrel's a great team fighter, so.
Now, one of your other picks, that wasn't Blaze, last weekend was a Rexxar, who had a brilliant, I don't know how you did it, escape into the shadows in the final team fight. You got a little forgotten about down there and got out alive. Congratulations on that.
Thanks. Yeah, it's all about the KDA.
Yeah, where's Rexxar in all this? Or was that just a, Garden of Terror special?
It worked well for some of our scrims. I think specifically that map, my goal was to ban all the offlaners and force them into an uncomfortable offlane, because if you play Blaze and Hogger every single day, what happens when those two are banned? And ended up happening was Dahaka was banned, Hogger was banned, and Blaze was banned. So all 3 offlaners were banned. And what you have left is Rexxar, Yrel, Leo, and a couple other ones that are kind of mismatched. And I found that Rexxar just worked well for what we did, and it got a lot of value early. It's just we struggled late game into what they had with Johanna frontline that we couldn't punish, because most of the time Rexxar had to follow up stun, and you can't really follow up stun on a Joe. Joe presses D, and I'm pretty sure Joe's really hard to kill, so that was unfortunate. But yeah.
Talk to me about your team a little bit, because you have now gone through with Weary Day and Mason Blaze for a number of seasons. But it sounds like this season y'all had a pretty big shakeup.
Yeah, so this season I'm back on Offlane, and we picked up IB, who was a mechanical god. And also, he's really good at comms for someone who just got a mic last season. Really, really great at comms. It's great. I love playing with IB. He's a really chill guy. Great to have him. He's a very good player with a very flexible pool. Super nice, calm. I think all our comms, some people will talk about our comms, very relaxing. We're just vibing. We're just, hey, we gotta get to the core eventually, guys. We'll get there when we get there. We're just chilling. So then we got IB, and also we got Haven, who is a Korean tank player who played in HGC back in the day. And there's some cool stuff with Haven. And Haven actually reached out to us and was like, hey, I'm kind of interested in a tryout. Is there something that you can do? And we're like, okay, we're gonna take a look. Can you play in HRCS? And he's like, sure. We watched his point of view on his stream. We look at some of the things that make him a quality tank, and then we added him to our team. And we found he was the best option for what we wanted to do, which was to go to LAN. We want to win, so.
And their shot calling is a lot more, I guess you could say, forward focused than your previous team dynamics have been.
Yeah, I think the past teams, the first 2 seasons with Justin was very different, because he had a different draft style. So it was almost like, hey, we're just going to out-sustain you with this weird draft. And then the 3rd season, we had Tremor, and Tremor was more of like an engine. He was looking for picks, and if he didn't get it, we all backed up and we all stayed safe, so we couldn't mess up. And then we just walked back in when it was ready for him. And then you got Haven, who was like, no, that guy's dumb. Punish him. We're going to go run him down and kill him, and then we're going to kill his friends too. And we're also going to take this boss and take this fort, and we're going to go end the game. So I love playing with Haven. It is so much fun. One of the biggest requests that I had was, I want a tank that is aggressive, and I'm going to follow him up, and I'm going to make sure my macro matches his playstyle so he can make plays and we can follow up. So he fits that mold of what I wanted, and I've been super happy with Haven, and he's been really great. Not only a teammate, because he's even though he doesn't speak English too well, there was actually a scrim one time where he muted himself on accident, and we couldn't tell him, like, hey, you're muted. He didn't understand that. So at the end, we're like, hey, no, Haben, no talk. And he's like, oh, my bad. And the entire game, even though he doesn't speak much English, we missed his voice. His saying go, 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 or check this, or oh, or whatever his call is, or kill this person, it's something we missed. So, even Haven's contributing to the comms that kind of fits our, Wildheart family.
Yeah. Family. That's awesome. Yep. Any thoughts as we end here heading towards your next opponent 30K?
I think it will be a good series. They're actually our number one scrim partner. So we scrim them the most because we find them to be the best team to scrim with our current time zones. Because right now there is mostly NA teams scrimming NA teams and EU teams scrimming EU teams. That's just because people work and they do other things. So we scrim like Diamond Hands and 30K and sometimes Simplicity, and they do some odd times with the Korean team. And we never really scrim Oxygen or Chili Mountain because they do EU. So we scrim 30K the most, and scrims are always fun against them. They're enjoyable, and they're also very close. So I'm expecting, hopefully, a great series, and hopefully we can come on top.
Awesome. Any shout outs you'd like to do here at the end?
Yep. Shout out to my team for putting all this hard work in so we can get some dubs. Shout out to Wildheart for all of the great things that they do. HRCS, we got some co-casting with Jazzy and Goon. We do a lot of different things on Twitter. We do some coaching and roasting. That's also something that we do as well. So we try to get a lot of amateur people involved in the scene. And also shout out to my girlfriends for supporting me. And also shout out to you, Kyle, for doing these interviews, for being 4 seasons. And it's always been a pleasure.
Awesome. Well, everyone stay tuned for that upcoming match.